Welcome to Ravens Over. Please subscribe to my channel or set the notification bell, like this video, and share. Welcome to another edition of Conversation She Speaks, where a trans-attracted man wants to give his opinion on how to help keep our sisters from the grave. Now, he's going to share his experience of how he dealt with the girls and what he's witnessed with the girls, and we're going to get his viewpoint as far as a cisgender man, a trans-attracted man that loves the girls, but he want to teach and talk in reference to a lot of things he's witnessed in reference to the girls. This is his opinion, and he's going to share what he's been through. Like this video and share this video everywhere you can. And my first guest, a cisgender male that happens to be trans-attracted. Here he comes. I created this channel for people with different support those who support you. There's a PayPal on top. People murder. One thing, there are a lot of times people can't stand in the truth, but you find one that does support them. Make sure they do not fall within a marginalized community as not being in existence. And you know that there are hard to find people that create a channel that cater to people who are different and stand in the truth. And the allies sit back and say, well, I have no problem with other people. Let me just stand in here and learn support those no judgment who support you. I love you. Stay in your truth. All right now, and welcome to another edition of She Speaks. Now, in this case, this is a trans-attracted man who's going to share his opinion on two-spirit women, and he decided to go on a recorded line and have the conversation and his experiences with two-spirit women. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Now, I have a few questions that I want to read to you.
Okay, go ahead.
And here we go.
Okay.
Are you trans-attracted?
Yes, I am indeed trans-attracted.
Do you have a problem if the trans women call you a tranny chaser?
Yes, because I find that word being very demeanor, because it has to do with their perception that they are working what you would say in the adult industry, and therefore they're used to a lot of men chasing them because they want to hook up with them, and they try to avoid paying the fee. And therefore, some men, they have a fantasy about transgender women, but they never have the gut to carry it out in real life. And therefore, they become tranny chasers, like it's a fantasy they have, but they will never have the guts to carry it out. And therefore, when you call a man who basically dates or are together with a transsexual woman a tranny chaser, that means you are being very rude when you're calling him that.
Okay, thanks. Would you marry a trans woman?
Yes, of course I would. I already done it.
Okay. Do it bother you by being attracted to trans women when they label you gay?
No, because people would not label me gay if they knew what they are talking about. Because a man who chooses to be with a transgender woman, he chooses that because the transgender woman, in many cases, are way more feminine in many of the things that she does than a regular born woman. Because the regular born woman tries to do as equal and great as possible, because she wants to be equal with her husband or boyfriend in whatever they have to do. And the transgender woman, she tries to be as different as possible to the man as possible, because she does not want to be a man. She was born a man, but she wanted to be a woman. Therefore, her effort to be as feminine as possible will always be better. And that's how I see it. And also, a man who chooses, like me, I don't see myself as gay, because I am with the woman that I'm with because she sees me as a heterosexual side, because she sees herself as a very feminine woman, and therefore we are attracted to each other.
Okay. Thank you. Now the next question is going to be what the girl needs to know about you when dating her that makes you upset on how she's treating you?
Say that again, and say that again. I didn't get it.
Okay. What do a girl need to know about you when dating you that makes you upset by the way she treats you?
I think the one that would treats me nicely. Of course, we can have different opinions about different things, but we all try to keep it cordial and keep it respectful. And I never experienced anything like that from her.
Okay. Do you protect trans women?
Do I what?
Do you protect trans women? In other words, when you hear about the girls being
Yeah,
murdered.
of course. Of course, I understand the question. I would say it like this. I do what I can to speak up for the transgender women. I do what I can to protect them as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I do what I can to educate people about it whenever there's an opportunity to do so. Because I think education when it comes to transgender women is important. But I also think that transgender women in general can do more than they are basically doing by picking spokespeople for them that can be accepted in the community and can be looked up to. And what people say that one person is a transgender woman, they have to understand a transgender woman is somebody who took effort to become the one that she is. It's not just a man wearing a skirt, because a man wearing a skirt and a wig is basically just a cross-dresser.
Right.
And a transgender woman, she has gone through a lot of things. And some have gone to court, a legal name change. Some have even gone through surgery. Some have gone through hormone treatments and all kinds of other enhancements in order to become what they are.
Okay.
And when they do all those things, then they also need to be respected for it. And of course, there are in all camps there are good and bad. There are rotten apples in all camps. In all camps, as a straight man or a straight woman, there are rotten apples. There are rotten apples in the community too. But it is what it is. But I think some of the stigma and some of the issues that there is because in many ways transgender has a tendency to go into the sex industry and this was viewed as a kink or a fetish or something like something we know about but we don't talk about. And that is not so cute because there are many girls who have come out who never had anything to do with the sex industry. Who never had anything to do with it whatsoever. They came out, they went to school, they took their education and are in good jobs. They're working in hospital and nurses. Some are lawyers. I even know one lawyer myself. Some are actors. Laverne Cox. Cox, she's a great advocate for the transgender community. I wish there was one like her. But where I am, we have the spokesperson. Is basically a joke because it's basically just a fat guy in a dress. And that cannot be a spokesperson. Nobody chose that want to be a spokesperson. It was somebody who took it upon himself to do it, and he's a clown whenever he and that's I think the other girls, the girls who are there, they should take it upon themselves to put somebody else there, to grab the torch and then say, no, he's not one of us. We are who we are. He's not one of us. And I think if the transgender community, the girls want to be more serious, then they need to step up too. And I think there are more that can be done in order to save transgender women's lives. Because many girls are killed. And some of them are killed by clients. And it's sad to say it, but that's the way it is. And I think if people look out a little more for themselves and they stick together a little more instead of having all that stupid rivalry and competition between each other, then there will be a safer place for them. and also stop backstabbing each other the way they do.
Okay. It's a very good analogy. You feel as though they should stick together much more better than they do, and they're murdered by their clients. Allegedly, that's what you're stating. Now, the thing is that, would you take a trans woman to your job? Because a lot of times when guys are dating the girls, they don't want to bring them to their job. So would you take one to your job?
Definitely, I have done that several times in my life.
Okay.
In different jobs, I have done it in office settings. I have done it when I was in a shop setting. I have done it when I was working as a clerk, and I have done it when I was working in payroll. And I have never had any issues with it. There have been a few people who asked me, who was that person that was visiting you the other day? Who was that? Then I said, it was a friend of mine, it was a girlfriend, or a significant, or whatsoever the title had been. And then I have only experienced it one time where there was one person who said, you can't do that because that's a transgender woman. I said, of course I can. Of course I can. And why wouldn't I be able to do that? Because well, you know what? Then I would say the same. I can't have you here because you're fat. Wow. And so if you want to discriminate because people are something different, then we also have to discriminate you because you're fat.
Wow.
And that was in the story. So he shut the fuck up, and there was any more talk about that.
Okay. How do your family feel about you dating trans women?
My family, at one point, they figured out, and then some of them said, you are no go for it anymore. But others, they said, we love you, and we still love you, and we care about you, and what goes for you goes for us.
Okay. How do your friends feel about it? How your friends feel about you dating trans women?
All my friends knows about it. And those who don't know about it, that's because they don't want to know about it. But everybody knows about it.
Okay. And I guess this question you already answered and said, well, can you be seen in public with one? You already said that.
Take that question again.
No, I say you actually already answered this question because I was like, can you be seen in public? And clearly you can be with no problem. And I also said we did the one bodily. So let me ask you this. In order to be with you, what would a girl have to do to win your heart?
In order for a girl to be with me,
yes,
she would have to be upfront. She would have to have herself awareness. She would have to be attractive. Not meaning that she needs to be a photobomb. Not at all. I like a person with a twist, or a little smile, or something that makes the person stand out.
Okay, so she would have to be beautiful. She would have to be attractive. She had to have something to stand out.
No, it doesn't have to. Of course, it does. It helps with the person.
Okay.
A girl don't need to be perfect, beautiful, or anything like that. Okay. A girl can be just herself, and you don't need to have hips or a big ass or big titties or anything like that. As long as
wait a minute.
Persona,
let me ask you this. What did you say she don't? What did you say she don't need? What did you say she don't need to have? I'm sorry for interjecting. What did you say she don't need to have?
She don't need to have all the right measurements, you know. I would say it's way more attractive if her personality can carry her.
Okay, so you basically want to murder. As long as she treats you right, that's what you're saying. It's more about the personality.
What you saying now?
You're saying it's more about the personality, and as long as she treats you right.
Yeah, I would say if the personality is right and she treats her right, then I would say that carries her a long way.
That's true. So let me ask the last question. How about ethnicity? Is the preference, what would your preference be? Could it be a tall girl, short girl, heavyset girl, black girl, white girl? What would your preference be?
My preference, I would say that's weird because, of course, I have a few personal preferences. Everybody does that.
Right.
But I will say I have dated almost all kinds of nationalities and colors and ethnics and stuff like that. And I would say there are different benefits with different ethnics. For instance, if you date a Caucasian girl, you're almost sure that she will do her utmost to blend in and
Okay.
try as much as possible to do that. And she's not very, that's it. And if you date a black African woman,
Yeah.
she will do whatever she can to make sure that hers is hers, and she do not care, and she's very territorial. If you date a Brazilian one, she will do whatever she can to make sure that she's territorial. She's very self-aware, and if you have an issue together with her, if you do it outside in public, she will beat the shit out of you when you get home. If you have an issue, you do it at home. You don't do it outside. And you represent her, and you do not represent your friends, you represent her. That means you're an ambassador for the staff that you have with her.
She's a what?
So
I'm
that's how
sorry.
it is.
You said she's a what?
What?
I didn't hear what you said. You said she has to be
I
what?
said, if you date a Brazilian transsexual,
Oh, Brazilian
she's very
transsexual.
territorial, she's
Loyal.
very self-aware, and
Self-aware.
if you have issues, you deal with them at home, you don't deal with them outside. Because
Yes.
anything that can transpire, that will
Transpire.
be negative on her, you deal with it at home, not in public. And if you do that, if you don't respect her, she will beat the shit out of you when you get home.
Interesting. Would that be it? That's the last question.
Okay, and then I can say something before I let you go. Now, when you are inviting me to this wonderful real estate session, I would say I wish there was more people who would be open-minded. That means both in my camp, but also in the transsexual camp, because some of the girls are very close-minded,
Right.
and some of the girls are very less educated, and some of the girls don't even know what a book is. And they need to be open-minded. They need to be able to take the next step forward and think outside of the shell. It's not a reality show. It's life.
Oh, okay.
And,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They need to do that. You know, if for them to do better, they need to do better themselves. And if they don't want to do better themselves, they cannot do better as a whole.
That's true, but in the same breath, you know, the thing about it is that a lot of girls come from a lot of abusive situations. So
But that's what I'm talking. We need to address that one too. There are some people who come from unhappy families and broken up families, and they've been two boyfriends who was a jerk. But that has to do with another thing. Because many girls have a tendency to date the wrong guys. And that's because they have that bad boy syndrome. They want to be with that boy. They want to be with a guy who do not provide for them. They want to be with a guy who talk badly about them or who cheat on them and stuff like that. Because that's the way they do. Because some of their family members did that. But therefore they think it's the right way to do it. Right? They need to do better for themselves.
So you're saying that it's passed down pain, but in the same breath, I mean, hopefully you have an open mind to understand. A lot of these girls are not really set in a situation where they could just move through the world comfortably. If you're a child and you put out on the street at the age of 12 years old and you got to bend the best way you can, sometimes the education is not available at that time, because at the end of the day,
Of course. But I have met girls who couldn't read, and they were some of the best people I ever met.
yes, but excuse me for
And I
interjecting.
can tell you why. Because they were honest.
Yes, go ahead.
They were honest, and one of them, she lived in a favela in Sao Paulo in Brazil. She basically had lived her life by herself since she was 7 in the streets, right? I met her when she was 18. We bonded and we were together for almost a year. And she was a wonderful person. Wonderful person. I still talk to her.
Yes,
She's
but
today, she can read and write and everything. She took a legal education. She got married to a very nice guy. And that was because she carried herself nicely. And she said, what I do is what I do. What I say is what I do. And she was honest to herself.
yes, can I interject here for a second? But to see, the thing about it is that every girl is different, and
Of course.
every girl cannot handle trauma the same way the next girl can. So it's easy to say, well, she should learn how to do this, she should learn how to do that. But when life throws different circumstances at you, you just can't quite move the way everybody else do. You end on a survival mode and you move that way the best way you can. When you do better, when you know better, you do better. But at the end of the day, every girl has a story, and everyone, sometimes his story is more stronger than people believe or can accept because they don't have that type of story for them. It's kind of, not trying to take away from what you're saying, but I just do feel as though that when you're a child put out on the street, every child can't survive the same way another child can. So to compare apples to oranges, that's why we're having a conversation with you, is because this is your conversation, what you experience as far as the girls. And the only reason why I'm interjecting is only because the girls go through a lot more than, as you would go through. On the outside looking in, it's totally different when it's happening to you. That's the only reason why I interject.
I understand what you're saying, and most of it, what you're saying is true. Let me go through a lot of stuff that people react differently to different things.
Right.
And not everybody is treated equal, and not everybody has the same opportunity. That is true, and not everybody is strong, and not everybody is beautiful, and all that stuff. But then you can turn it around and say life is a thing. And only the strongest person made it out of here, right? But of course, there are people who do not make it, and there are people who make it. And why not celebrate those who do good, and those who do phenomenal, and those who make good results? Let's celebrate them. The other people who do not do so well have some icons they can look up to, and those who do well, they can look back and help some of those who do not do so well get further up in line.
Okay. I understand you said icons, but see, I have to interject once again. Not saying what your words are not valid, but the thing about it is you've been destroyed by people. You're not going to be looking for an icon or someone, and especially if you're a child that was molested and even blamed for your molestation and even beaten by people you thought would have your back. Remember, these girls are abused. And I understand what you're saying, and I'm not trying to take away from it, but at the end of the day, these girls are moving through this world through abuse, and they're talking to you
Yes,
through scars.
I understand what you're trying to say. Not all of them are victims. There are some of them who are victims, right? We can agree about that. And those who are victims, they should have help the way they can be helped, right? But the majority of them are not victims. The majority of them are basically people who are capable of doing things for themselves and are not victims, right?
And I have to,
Of course,
I have to
there are
interject
people
once
who are
again.
victims,
I
and
have to,
those who are victims. But
I have to interject once again. A lot of the girls are more victims than you believe. See, the thing about it is that you on the outside looking in, you're not living that life, so it's totally different.
I would say something. I have known the first time so girl I met in my life is almost 40 years ago. 40. And I would say today I know many, and when I say many, that's more more than many people know in their entire life, people in general. And I would say I have enough knowledge to know those who do not do so well, and those who do well, and those who are drug addicts and have been out of it and came back to life. I know some who have been to jail, in and out of the jail system. I know some who have been incarcerated, and then they were thrown in among the men because some mishaps and fuck up in the system and some kind of retaliation. I know about that. I also know how they did and when they came out, and I know about it. But I would say there's a lot of good things to say about these girls, and there's many more that needs to be said, much more that needs to be said about them. But we also need to celebrate those who do okay, those who survive, and those who care for themselves and care for their family, and they can make life out of it, right? We need to celebrate those. But we need to take care of the sick ones too. But we need to talk about those who do well.
Yes, but the same simple matter is that
That's something you need to understand. We cannot always talk about those who are mishaps or fuck ups. We cannot always talk about them, because if we always talk about them, then people who need to be interested in this matter, they will say, "Oh no, not one more time." And that's the same when you see on the news. People say, "Oh my God, now they're doing this and this. There's a war going on there, or there's a fire going on there, right?" We have talked about the fire in California for the last 2 months, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about it because we have seen it so often. But it's a tragedy, right? But that's the same way you keep pounding people with the same thing. People get immune.
But see, the problem I'm having with this is because you're on the outside looking in. You're not a trans woman. You are a cisgender man, which means that you could wear the title of a cisgender man or a man that's date females anytime you want. When you're a two-spirit woman, it's not a costume. So it's easy to sit back and look in the window and judge when it's not happening to you. When she walks away from you, you don't know what's going to happen to her, because you could always say you are a straight man. She's within her truth, and at the end of the day, and unless you understand what a person is going through, you have to walk in their shoes. You can't be on the outside critiquing what they need to do and how they need to do it, unless you got on a wig and a dress and an outfit where your body's getting done, whether it's silicone or not, and it's getting pumped and you're getting sick because you're trying to be accepted in a world that's never quite going to accept you. And you have people that's supposed to have your back that don't have your back. She goes to a lot of men.
That is true what you're saying there. That is true what you're saying there. Because I have seen that with many of your sisters. There are some of your sisters who are friends, and then all of a sudden, when fame or money comes into play, then those who are close friends, they're not close friends any longer. It's all about backstabbing, and then friends become enemies and stuff like that. I've seen that way too often.
Yes, but
I've also seen it where a mother, she was living off her daughter. Her daughter used to be her son. Her son went through transition and become a girl. And then she started working as a model, and she started doing tricks, and she started making a lot of money, and she started doing movies and stuff like that. And having her own website and stuff. All of a sudden, the mother came from money and said, "You need to help me with my rent. You need to give me a car, otherwise I won't see you." And the son's daughter said, "Mom, I love you, and I'll always be there for you, and you know that. But I cannot be with you if you don't help me, because I need help. I have no husband, because my husband, he beat me, and I got divorced, and now he has everything." So the daughter that used to be her son, she now has to pay for the mother in order to get the mother's love. I have seen that. And it's
but see, in all due respect, once again, you're still looking out. you're the outside looking in. You're not living that life. You're just looking through the window glass. It's not your story. You're just looking like a TV show. It's not your life. You're just looking at it. It's not you. Having sex or
I
being
was,
a
I was basically at one point dating that girl who
but,
used to be the son who became the daughter.
but the key
I dated her for about 6 months,
but,
and we are good friends today.
but the thing
And
was
I can tell you how much she cried. I can tell you how desperate she was. I can tell you what it took for her to get rid of her mother.
but the
It
key
took a lot.
can I interject here for a minute? And I do apologize. The thing is that you're still on the outside looking in. Just because you're
Of
friends with
course,
someone, you're not.
of course I am. I am looking in because I'm a man. I am attached to a woman who is a transsexual. That's why I will always be looking in
Yes,
because I'm attached.
but see, the thing is that you're not living that life. You're looking in. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
you have to walk in those shoes, and not trying to take away from what you're saying, because everything you're saying is very relevant. But the simple fact of the matter is that I just want you to open up your mind a little bit more that you are not a trans woman.
I'm not.
Okay, so
If I was a trans woman, then I would be a lesbian because I'm attracted to a trans
you know what?
man.
I can't. The thing is, in order to understand what someone is going through, you have to be like them. Not everything,
I
but
understand what you're saying, but you could also take something from your own story, your life, because you're attractive and you're very smart and you're intelligent too, right? You've had your struggles up and down, and some of them you have came out on top, and some of them you have not done so well with, right? But generally speaking, you're a grounded woman. You know your own worth, and you know what you represent. And
yeah,
you're a proud one, right?
but see, in all due respect, not trying to disrespect you in no way or form, but you can't compare me to every other girl. A lot of girls have had struggles. Have you been beaten? Have you?
Listen, you cannot. That's something you need to understand as a trans woman. I know you have a big heart. I know you have a giant heart, right? But you cannot. You can be an advocate and you can save as many as possible, but you cannot save the world.
That's very true, and I definitely embrace that. I'm not trying to say the word. I'm just trying to have a conversation with the gray area.
I
What like,
know.
and
And you and I, we share many common grounds and we share many values in common.
we
And I think as a man, I'm pretty well founded in what I'm talking about right now. And I know that I am looking into the problem from outside,
right,
and I know that there's more that can be done.
right.
And I hope that will be more. More people will do more.
Mm.
And of course, I do that. But I also think that something needs to be done among the girls for them to do better, because they can clean up their act a little bit, and then they will be more accepted.
They can
And they will be easy.
Can I interject here, please? Forgive my ignorance. They can only do better if opportunity opens up for them. See, the thing about it, once again, and I hate to say this, and forgive me, you're not a trans woman. You don't know what they're going
You have
through.
said that 8 times now.
Because you saying things that's not true.
It is true, because they can do better. Why do they have to rob their clients?
Okay, then. Okay, that's fine.
I can give you several examples.
But you
where
ordered.
a girl was treating a guy.
But see, this is example. But see, you're still looking in the window. It's not you. You're looking in the window.
No, it was not me. It was not me, because I would have never been so dumb and gone with her to the hotel and then it blocked me. I would never have done that.
I can't. Okay.
Because I know the game, and there are girls who do a decent job, who are perfect company for guys, and there are those who do not do so well because they like to do all kinds of shit, and that's not good for the community. That's not good. They become bad ambassadors for their own gender.
Okay.
And that's what you don't understand.
Well,
there needs to be some kind of cleanup among the girls.
So we can say one thing: you have the girls' interests at heart. That's
That's
what
what happened.
you have the best. You want the best for the girls. Is what you're saying. You really want the best,
What
and you
I'm saying is that I do what I can more than support, and I have done that all my life,
right,
basically. And I am proud to know the people that I know, and I'm proud to give a helping hand when needed.
right.
I wish sometimes I had more hours and more to do with, but it is what it is.
It's true.
But I also think that it's important that the girls need get their stuff right one way or another. It cannot be done in one day. I know that, but there needs to be some kind of cleanup to do, because if they keep going on with things the way they do, then eventually there will be some kind of division among them. There are always a division, because there are those who do well, and then there are those who do not do so well, and that is basically a pretty big difference. You can take those who make significant money and those who make very little money, right?
Yeah, that's
And
everybody in the world, though.
yeah, that's how it is, and that's because there are many reasons for it. But generally speaking, the men, the straight community need to do better,
That's
and the
true.
transsexual community needs to do better.
What
Both
the
communities
transgender,
need to do better in order to meet.
but all due respect, do you know what a marginalized community means? They're not giving
Yes,
it.
I do.
They're not giving.
That
Go ahead.
we cannot always keep coming up with excuses,
Oh,
because
excuse
I
me.
can come up
Yeah.
with excuses too for the straight community. I have plenty of excuses, but all of them are done. We can come up with marginalizing stuff and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean we need to accept crime.
Okay.
When people commit a crime, there's a penalty for it, right? We can agree about that, right?
The if it's a crime within a certain method of time, I don't really go into the crime thing.
It's a crime to take a guy to the hotel and give him a sleeping pill, so you can take his money and his watch, and then leave him there, right? That's a crime, right?
Is it a crime to do what? I'm sorry, I didn't
It's a
hear.
crime to take a trick
To
back
it
to the hotel
to a straight
and
man
put
to
a
the.
sleeping pill in his cocktail so he passes out, and then you take his money and his wallet and his credit card and his watch,
Okay,
and
so
then you go.
so
That's a crime, right?
can I let me just make sure I got this right. You're saying that it's wrong to take a man to a hotel, get him drunk, and then rob him.
That's a crime to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're on the same page. Some girls are doing that, but there are also guys who date a transsexual, and then they rob her, or they rob their girlfriends, and the girlfriend they're sharing it with them, right? That's a crime too.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I'm saying.
the thing about it, I understand you saying what a crime is, and I understand it. But first of all, if you're going to a hotel with anyone that's not your significant other or a date, there's already something happening, some type of transaction, unless it's like a friend or something like that. But the thing about
What I'm saying is, yes, we need to be fair and square with things, right? It's not many of the things that have happened. The girls are involved in it too. In some cases, girls from different neighborhoods, they can rob each other, and then they can have their boyfriends in on it. That's what they do.
yes, but in all due respect, but the thing about it is that that's like universal though. It's not just the girls, it's like the whole world. And the simple fact of the matter is that a lot of times the reason why the girls are targeted is because they know that they have no way of they can't eat tonight. They gotta do things in order to live in this world. You have to put your body up to sell so you can have another meal the next day. And I don't think a lot of people understand those things when it comes.
I think there are people who understand. I also think there are ways around things and stuff like that that can be do more. More things can be done, right?
Let me ask you
But I
this.
don't think.
Can I ask you this question? Do you know what it's like to die in order to live?
What did you say? Say it again, please.
Do you know what it's like to die in order to live?
What what it is to die in order to live.
Yes.
I know what it means because I have been broke at one time, and then I had to figure out a way not to get broke, and then I had to muscle up and do better.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever had to put your body up for sale?
No.
Okay. Then you don't know what it's like to die in order to live. Everything.
But I know people have done it,
but
and I know people who have had a very bad taste in their mouth afterwards. I know that. I have talked to them, and I have comforted them, and I have helped them. And one person.
But see, the thing in all due respect, the thing about it is that when I express it to you, I mean, as far as you, whenever I ask you something, you keep talking about other people, but I'm talking about you, and I understand.
No, I have not been that privileged.
Okay,
I wouldn't say that.
So in all due respect, when a girl has to put her body up for sale, do you know how bad that kills her soul?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I know also that this way we are talking about it right now, we can go on and on forever.
Yeah, that's true.
We say the same things basically, but we do it differently.
Well, not exactly saying the same things. You saying it from a very different point of view. However, I respect your opinion and stuff.
Yeah, you say that I'm looking in and you looking out.
Right.
And we can agree to that. But that means we can agree to disagree.
There you go. I agree with that.
Are.
I agree with that. 100%. I definitely agree with that.
Okay. Then I give you a big kiss and say thank you so much for bringing me on board for your interview. It has been a pleasure to be a part of it. I hope I haven't ruined anything. I hope I have given a little bit of
the thing about it is everything you said is important, and I appreciate you coming on there because there are a lot of men who do see things just the way you do. So you're not alone. There's a lot of men who feel exactly what you said. So it's not like, you're saying it by yourself. It's a lot of men who will agree with you. And the simple fact of the matter is that I do appreciate you for coming on and being the first man to sit up here and represent the girls. And I do know you love the girls because I already know you. So I know you're not that type of dude. But the thing is that I appreciate the fact that you took out time of your day to try to give an outlook of as far as your knowledge of what you did witness in reference to the girls and stuff. And once again, I thank you because you're like one of the leaders myself. And the simple fact of the matter is that you stood up and said, listen, I want to try to help the girls be out the grave. And you want to give your idea of what's going on in your mind and what you're thinking. And you're speaking for a lot of men. Trust when I tell you to. And you're speaking for a lot of women. And you're speaking for a lot of trans women. Everybody's not going to agree with what I'm saying. Everybody's not going to agree with what you're saying. But at the end of the day, guess what we made? Conversation to open it up for people to have something to talk about. And I thank you so much for doing this because you didn't have to and you did it and you wanted to do something because you're a good dude. And I know you personally. And the thing about it is that I thank you for taking out your time and talking to me and being my first guy on here. Okay?
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being the first guy. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, if you're a trans attracted man and you want to come on this channel, you can email me at ravenover@yahoo.com and we can share the story and dialogue and stuff on She Speaks. And this way, we can have a conversation what you feel about trans women and your attraction to them. If you're a transgender woman, you can also hit me up at ravenover@yahoo.com. If you're a cisgender woman, you can hit me up at ravenover@yahoo.com. If you're a trans man, you can hit me over at ravenover.com. And let's have the conversation. I feel as though with your dialogue and your conversation, people get a better understand of what's going on. A lot of times people can understand things much more better when they're hearing it for themselves. Once again, you're going to be incognito. I don't want your name. I don't want your location. I just want your experience and a teachable moment. Like this video, share this video everywhere you can. Let's start the conversation where people get an idea of what's going on within the world we live in. At the top, there's an Instagram button. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Let you, I love you, and thank you for watching. Catch the read.